Legacy is something left or handed down from a previous generation, and whether money, property, or ideas, they leave a lasting impact on a person. Today, we talk about the literary and law enforcement legacies of Charles Allen and Bart Skelton. Skeeter Skelton may be the last vestige of the frontier's Western lawman, working for the DEA, U.S. Customs Service, U.S. Border Patrol, and as the sheriff of Deaf Smith County in Texas. He wrote articles for many publications, and his storytelling ability was second to none. Many believe Skeeter Skelton is still the greatest outdoor gun writer of all time. His first book, Good Friends, Good Guns, and Good Whiskey, is a must-have for any gun guy's library. Skeeter continually wrote for the Shooting Times from 1966 to his untimely death in 1988. From 67 on, he was the handgun editor for said magazine. You could imagine the interesting pieces that came across his desk. Bart Skelton, the only son of Skeeter, was born June 6, 1960. He was practically raised to wind up in the law enforcement trade. Growing up in West Texas and southern New Mexico, Bart took in all his father had to offer, from shooting .22s to handgun hunting with his dad's prized flat-top .44 Magnum. Bart entered the law enforcement world via the New Mexico State Police before spending the majority of his career working for the U.S. Customs Service. Bart would eventually begin to write as his father did, having a long-time relationship with Guns and Ammo magazine. In 2003, Bart's book, Down on the Border, A Western Lawman's Journal, was published with many of his previous articles, and some news stories of Western lawmen that came before him, and many that knew him, like his friend, Texas Ranger Joaquin Jackson. Both father and son loved guns and the stories that the blued steel ivory grip 6-guns told, the new innovative firearms made by new manufacturers, and the utilitarian guns they relied on to catch criminals. Before you today is the initial offering from the Skelton family collection. These guns were traded for, used, collected, and treasured by Skeeter and Bart. Starting us off are a couple handguns given to Bart from friend and storied Texas Ranger Joaquin Jackson. Joaquin and Bart were longtime friends and hunting partners. They traded guns like kids trade baseball cards and always found treasures. The first gun I'd like to talk about is this Colt Combat Commander. It was manufactured in the 1970s, and it was carried by Joaquin Jackson as his truck gun, and it was later obtained by Bart. This blued steel beauty with smooth walnut grips is similar to Joaquin's duty weapon, which currently resides in the Texas Ranger Hall of Fame in Waco, Texas. This Smith & Wesson Model 59 is also given to Bart by Ranger Jackson during the well-known Arthur Bunny Eckert case. Arthur Eckert vanished the same day his mother was killed in 1986. The case was never solved, and Eckert is still missing. The Model 59 is a 9mm semi-auto pistol originally developed for the US Navy. This gun is a prime example of the utilitarian guns of the time and has a 14-round magazine capacity, so you know why Bart would have liked that gun. It's an interesting gun and has a storied history. Moving on, this Ruger 1022 also has an interesting story. A first-hand account states Ruger's founder, Bill Ruger, initially presented the first inscribed 1022 to Bart Skelton. Now, Bart was encouraged to sell that gun from his father to help supplement Bart's college tuition. But when Ruger found out about this, he found it unacceptable, and a second inscribed 1022 was given to Bart. And that's this gun right here. On the top of the receiver, it's marked presented to Bart Skelton, September 1980. Bart kept this rifle in his personal collection for the rest of his life. Now, if you've read Skeeter's books or articles, you know he was a huge fan of the .44 Special. From the triple lock to pre-model 24s, Skeeter enjoyed the round. To this day, the 250 grain cast Keith bullet over 7.5 grains of unique is known as the Skeeter load. He was instrumental in Smith & Wesson bringing back the Model 24, the large end-frame chambered in .44 special. This Model 24-3 has a 4-inch barrel and would have been perfect for daily carry. The smooth custom grips fit perfectly in your hand, making it not just a piece of history, but a functional carry piece for anyone who loves the perfection of a true classic. Now, Skeeter is most always associated with handgun hunting, but was also a prolific rifle hunter. In the 1982 July issue of the Shooting Times magazine, Skeeter writes about many hunting rifles he had over the years, but there is one which stands out and by all accounts could be this rifle. The article states, in the middle 1950s, the DCM turned loose a bunch of 03A3 Springfields, and I drew one. I had Dave Beavers of Hereford, Texas cut down the barrel to 22 inches and turn it below standard sporter diameter. We replaced the stamped trigger guard and floor plate with a milled one and installed a custom safety and trigger. The stock was fashioned from a Fajan blank and a full pistol grip was left on it. The scope was again a Weaver K4, my idea of an all-around rifle sight. The caliber was left .30-06, my idea of an all-around rifle caliber, and the outfit weighs about 7 pounds with a sling. I've had this rifle for almost 30 years, and it's still a tack driver. I've taken down antelope with it, as well as white-tailed deer in Texas and Mexico. It has also brought home an abundance of mule deer from Texas, New Mexico, and Colorado. A few years ago, I packed it via horseback into the wilds of northern British Columbia, and I used it to down a nice bull moose with one shot at 300 yards. It is my favorite rifle. This 03A3 appears to be just that. It has a custom sporter stock, a 22-inch barrel, and a Weaver K4 scope. It is identical to the rifle thrown over Skeeter's shoulder in this image. Skeeter's self-proclaimed favorite hunting rifle sits here on the table before me. And lastly, this Case Thompson Center Contender was presented to Skeeter Skelton at the 3rd Annual Outstanding American Handgunner Awards. Subsequently, Bill Ruger won the award that year, joining the ranks of Elmer Keith and Charlie Askins. Skeeter would later win that award in 1978. The Contender is a favorite of handgunners and has been used by handgunning greats to take everything from squirrel to Cape buffalo. The single shot has a unique ability to change barrels and calibers fairly effortlessly. This Contender is chambered in .44 Magnum and is an absolute stunner with its blued frame and barrel and its exquisitely figured walnut grip and forearm. On the butt of the pistol grip, there is an engraved plaque stating, Skeeter Skelton from TC Arms, American Handgunner Awards, 1975. A historic celebration of elite handgunners and a presentation piece from maybe the greatest gun writer of all time. This is just a small sampling of some of the personal favorites of this initial offering of the Skelton family collection. There are Colts, Rugers, Winchesters, and much more. There's even a presentation Super Blackhawk from country legend Hank Williams Jr. This will truly be the ultimate sporting and collector auction this October, with many historic and premier grade firearms for you. Come to the Castle of Collecting October 3rd, 4th, and 5th in Bedford, Texas. But don't forget Preview Day is October 2nd for your opportunity to browse, shoulder, and examine your next gun. If you can't make it, bid online at rockislandauction.com. We can't wait to see you there.